Hi, my name is Leslie Poulis, and this is my CT 280 essay proposal video. So my topic is going to be on identity and how we, today in modern life, we are shaping ourselves into different versions of the self while we're interacting on these socially technological platforms. So various theorists and influential authors have defined the concept of identity over the past few decades. And over time, this concept has become more and more complex, with the introduction of technology providing a platform to create various identities of one's choosing. So whether it be on social media such as Facebook or Instagram, or in video games such as Slender the Arrival and Alien Isolation with Oculus Touch, these allow for you to be in a virtual reality while actually playing the game. So these platforms provide individuals with the opportunity to create new identities and express themselves in ways that would have never been before possible. And this may not always be a good thing. So first I want to talk about how and when this all started. We saw a transformation of institutions when society shifted to a late postmodern era. It also brought about many changes when it came to social life and individuals interacting with each other. So many of the institutions that used to bring people together, such as a main city street, a union hall, or a town gathering, they're no longer a part of social life in the way that they used to be. Many people now spend their day alone at the screen of a television or a computer, and we blurred the line between simulation and reality, between what exists on the computer and what is real. So when we step through the screen into virtual communities, we reconstruct our identities on the other side of the looking glass, which is a concept developed by Turkle and well explains the transitions of the self when entering online communities or subcultures. Many people experience identity as a set of roles that can be mixed and matched and whose diverse demands need to be negotiated, meaning the internet has become a significant social laboratory for experimenting with the constructions and reconstructions of the self that characterize postmodern life. So I'm going to briefly talk about MUDs, Multi-User Dungeons, which is a video game that was introduced in the 1970s. It was a face-to-face role-playing game. The Dungeon Master creates a world where people take on a fictional persona and engage in complex adventures. So it's rule-driven, includes charisma points, levels of magic, and rolls of the dice. And this brought about a new kind of social virtual reality. So identity is the first thing you create in the game, essentially an alternate identity or your character. The role gives people new stages on which to exercise new identities, and their new identities affirm the reality of the scenario. So for people whose lives are controlled by parents, professors, bosses, there's a new certain attraction to a world in which mastery and admiration of peers is available to anyone with imagination and intellectual curiosity. So the internet has become a vehicle for individuals to temporarily discard their real selves and construct new identities based on a selected presentation of the self that would be impossible offline. So I'm going to shift now to modern technology and present day life. So we now live in a world where even some think of talking on the phone as too inconvenient because texting offers just the right amount of access and control. So this idea was developed in Turkle's book and is better known as the Goldilocks effect. Texting has introduced the opportunity to be not too close, not too far, but just at the right distance from people. So in her book, a 21-year-old college student claims, "I don't use my phone for calls anymore. I don't have the time to just go on and on. I like texting, Twitter, looking at someone's Facebook wall. I learn what I need to know. With constant technologies come new anxieties of disconnection and a sense of panic. From personal experience, I feel a sense of nakedness when disconnected from my phone, my laptop, and essentially the social world." I will now shift our focus to the new state of the self, which is created in modern day life. So we never graduate from working on identity. We simply rework our identities throughout our whole lives, or the life course. We're too quick to celebrate the continual presence of technology that knows no respect for traditional and cultural boundaries. And when media is always there waiting to be wanted, people tend to lose a sense of choosing to communicate. So there's a quote that explains this very well. "I glance at my watch to sense the time. I glance at my iPhone to get a sense of my life." So these network devices, they encourage a new notion of time because you can layer more activities onto each other. So you can text while answering emails or write a paper but be on Facebook the whole time. So, some joined the discussion on this topic, and they discuss anxiety. So basically, Facebook has taken over my life. I find myself looking at random people's photos or going to random things. Then I realized after all that, it was a waste of time. Another university student claims she couldn't put her phone down, as she's afraid she'll miss out on something. It has a camera, the time, I can always be with my friends. Not having your phone is a high level of stress. So unfortunately, with this new connectivity comes a level of anxiety. So my main point I would like to argue here is that anxiety and this desire to create different versions within the self, it's emerged due to the constant technological lives that we have now lived for the past few decades, and that's the main point that I would like to argue in my essay. Thank you.